It's Michelle DeCall. Welcome back again to New Birth of Me, where women get to become empowered, strengthened, encouraged, begin to even discover their purpose so that they can move forward in becoming the best version of who they are. And so we were in a discussion, I believe, in our last session, talking about the new birth of me. What is that, right? What is that? So we defined that, and I think I challenged you as well. And today I want to move into the 7 signs and steps that show that you may be in a new birthing process. Remember, I strongly believe that God is our creator. We are his creation, and he's created us to be creative in the earth. And the reason why we have to even follow and even understand that order, so that we know that we're human beings, right? That are constantly growing, constantly expanding, constantly exploring, and just becoming. If you're not growing, you're stagnant. If you're not growing, you're stuck. Right? So this birthing, the new birth of you, the new birth of me, is saying that we're evolving, we're emerging, that I am a being that is alive, and I am now living a life that is fulfilling, not just for me, but for those around me. And so even as we talk about the 7 steps, we're going to talk about that today, so that you can even see, where are you? Where are you right now? Sometimes we could be going through, especially as women, going through different seasons, and we feel some type of change, we feel something happening, but we can't quite put our finger on it. And I hope today the goal is that you can become quite clear, or even have better understanding. All right. So point number 1, the 7 signs and steps that shows that you are going through a new birthing process. Point number 1 is the discomfort begins. The discomfort begins. What am I talking about? The discomfort. There's a stirring that's taking place that, everybody around you doesn't quite know, but you know inwardly that something is changing about me. Something's happening. Like a pregnant woman, nobody else knows or can feel the kicks or feel the changes, maybe the eating habits, or just your appetite. Things are changing depending on the stage of your pregnancy. You can probably feel the baby kicking. Nobody else outside of you knows that, but you feel it. It's unique to you. And I want to say this too: when something is happening unique to you, don't try to get popular opinion. Don't try to go around interviewing people. If you're feeling it, right, write it down. Remember, write. You got to write it down. Take a note of it, because the Holy Spirit, God, could be connecting and communing with you. And your process is different than everybody else's. Another note: do not compare your process. Please, you are unique. You're wonderfully made, complexly made. So some of the things that you're going through is unique to you and the season that you're in. And you may not always understand it. That's why it's important that you write it down. So going back to my example of being in a place of this is discomfort. Something unique, something different is happening, and I don't quite understand. Like the pregnant woman, because she's feeling some changes, everybody else may not feel it. Her husband may not feel it. Her friends may not feel it. She can describe it, but when she's describing it, nobody can say, no, that's not you, right? We don't want that. So with that discomfort, you might start to feel a little bit of restless. You may feel a little unsettled. You may even feel dissatisfied. Ever feel dissatisfied on your job? Ever feel unsettled on your job, maybe in your relationship, right? This was causing you, it's this disruption in your life, disruption in your being, disruption in your emotions. And this disruption can come through your relationships. Could be maybe your career, maybe it could be in your business, maybe it could be in your education, maybe it could be even in your health, right? There was a disruption that took place with me. My health challenge, being diagnosed with cancer, there was a disruption, right? It was not to my own choosing. It happened, right? And so there are life situations. Maybe it could also be bankruptcy. You can feel there's something different happen. Adversity can come and it can create some discomfort, right? And so God begins stirring your spirit, even in the midst of achievement, even in the midst of adversity. And it's making it hard for you to stay where you've been. Disruptions are sometimes necessary because if we don't have disruptions and discomfort, we'll stay comfortable. You know us, human beings, right? We like to stay comfortable, some of us, right? Sometimes it's hard to grow. Sometimes, having to expand is not always easy and comfortable. So sometimes, can I just settle? Well, yeah, you can settle for a little while, but you're not supposed to stay there all the time. So discomfort is necessary. Disruption is necessary. You will sense that there is more even when you can't see it. I remember, prime example, after I had a double mastectomy, after my breast cancer surgery, I remember sitting in my recliner one day and again, as I tell you, I love to journal. So I was journaling and capturing some of the raw moments of my experience. And one day I was writing and I felt it as clear as day that I'm going to start to write a book. And in writing the book, the title came, I Can't Take Back My Yes. And I shared it with my pastor and she was like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what it is. And so continue writing. And so I did. And then as I journeyed through the experience, I felt something else kind of within my spirit that I needed to do something more, that I would it's not something that I'm going to be just going through for healing purposes and wholeness for myself, but how can I make an impact? What would that look like? And so I had another idea, which I'll talk about that a little bit later, just the foundation and what I created as a result of going through this experience and journeying through. I say all that to say there was a stirring that was taking place. It was just an idea in the moment, but the book and the foundation actually was stirring. I was feeling like what I'm going through was not for naught. I'll say that again. The job you're on, the health challenge you may be walking through, the bankruptcy, the eviction, it's not for naught. The broken relationship, it's not for naught. And so there's some discomfort taking place. And even though I can't see it, it's very real to me. And so again, I begin to write. So point number one was discomfort starts to kick in. There's a stirring that's taking place. Point number two, the contractions of change. Yeah, we don't like this part. The contractions of change, what does that mean? That basically means old habits, old systems. It's not working anymore, right? You're going to find yourself letting go of the old ways, old mindset. Even in the process of going through my healing process, my mindset was being reshaped. I was understanding that this is not happening to you, but it's actually happening for you. And that really whoa, really? Cancer? I think cancer is straight from the pit of hell if you ask me personally, and it is. But in that, God was letting me know, Holy Spirit was letting me know, this is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And so right there, that began to shift my mindset. So my old mindset was actually changing in an adverse situation. I had to let go of the old nature, the old Michelle, and something was becoming unearthed within me, if that makes sense. When your mind begins to change, when you're learning, that means things about you also starts changing. My relationships started changing. Habits also, you'll start to see it changing or shifting or falling away. When you're becoming and something is birthing, becoming new in you, old and new can never stay in the same space. The old will fall away. And the new, you'll make room for the new to come forth. So you may feel the pressure, face the pressure of opposition. There's emotional stretching. Can I tell you, there's also spiritual stretching, even in the journey. And I knew a part of the old, what helped to have some of the old pass away was the time I was spending in my healing process and journeying through. I was spending more time with God. Anytime you spend more time with God, there's going to be transformation. Anytime you're leaning in, whether it's prayer, whether it's devotion, whether it's worship, there's always going to be transformation. It's almost like God uses time and devotion with Him to literally skim away some of the old. When you're in prayer, you're opening up yourself to the new. This is why I could not continue to look at the cancer. right? If you keep looking at the cancer will actually expand and broaden, create more fear. But when I looked at Christ, it now began to expose me and expand me even to new perspectives, new understanding. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Well, how is this happening for me? So in prayer now, I'm asking questions. Right? In prayer now, I'm gaining new understanding. I'm gaining new revelation. So old ways of thinking are dissipating and falling away. There's a new horizon. There's a new elevation, a new revelation of thinking. Scriptures came alive. I was chosen for this. Wow, really? Yes, I was chosen for this. This battle was not for me. This battle belongs to the Lord, but being chosen says, I'm really sharpening you and I'm giving you knowledge. I'm giving you understanding. Here again, old mindset. I'm not getting stuck on the diagnosis, but now I'm getting stuck in moving in a new dimension. That feels good. Yes. I'm now moving in a new dimension. That means I'm fluffing off, exfoliating. Ladies, you can relate to this when it comes to getting a facial, right? Or you're washing your face, and there's certain times, maybe every 3 days. For some, you may do it every night. You use maybe a fine exfoliant. After you take off, use your face wash, you do a gentle exfoliant. What are you doing? You're exfoliating. You're taking off the dead skin. We're taking off. When you're in Christ, he fluffs off some of the old mindsets, some of the old things, because old cannot move into this new creation, this new birthing that I'm doing, even in a bad situation, right? And so now you find yourself that even in the opposition, right? Even in this contractions of changes, it's uncomfortable. You feel the pressure, but you know it's not punishment. I'll say that again. You'll feel the pressure, but you'll know it's not punishment, right? You begin to move that it's, instead of seeing it as punishment, now it's like, I need to prepare. It's preparation. A pregnant woman going through contraction, she knows she's pregnant. She now has to prepare for that baby. When you're in this space, when a new birthing of you takes place, there is preparation that's coming forth, and you're being called into a new place. You're being called into a new season. So every contraction pushes you closer into new life. Every contraction of change is pushing you closer into a new way of living. Every contraction of change is pushing you closer into purpose. God is calling you it a little bit closer. Point number 3, isolation or hiddenness. Isolation or hiddenness. This is where you may feel set apart or even unseen. God often pulls us into a season of quietness where he can reshape your identity and renew your focus. I can tell you with my journey, I literally put everybody on a gag order concerning my diagnosis. I had maybe about 15 people that knew. And of course, I chose that. I chose it because, number one, I didn't want people to rally around me in a place of self-pity. I needed to find my own footing. I didn't want anybody to feel sorry for me in a sense, even though people did not want to see me or would want to see me in that state. I had to find my own strength. So I had to create some boundaries that was necessary for me as I move into this place. So I chose this place of hiddenness, not isolation, but hiddenness that 15 people knew. My inner circle knew, but I didn't really want the world. I didn't plaster it on social media. I didn't go around and tell everyone. Even my church family didn't know at the moment, right? And that was, again, to safeguard this unusual space that I didn't quite know what to feel, what to do. I needed to build up my strength. I needed to feel my feels. I needed to kind of know, like, who is Michelle in all of this, and not get lost in thoughts, opinions, expectations of others, and keeping everybody up to date with the play-by-plays of what was going on with me. So I hid, and I believe God was hiding me for a season as I was journeying through. And so feeling set apart and unseen actually gave me a place to be in a place of a cocoon so I can find my strength. When you're going through a birthing process, it's almost like a caterpillar. A caterpillar goes through various stages, right? They go through, it goes from the caterpillar, then it goes into a chrysalis when it's real mushy, right? That caterpillar goes through, it's that chrysalis where it's so soft. You don't even know what's taking place. You don't even know what's about to happen, but you know that season is quite mushy. Before you birth out, there's a mushy season. It's an uncomfortable, but you're still hidden, right? And so we know from the chrysalis, then that mush, if you will, it now moves into a butterfly. So that stage of the mushiness, right? That's where your hiddenness, nobody quite sees you. And God doesn't want anybody to touch you. He doesn't want you to get into certain opinions and get lost by people's expectation of you. So he'll hide you, so don't push it. He may hide you, so don't force your way out. Hidden seasons are not wasted seasons. They are wombs of development. You're in the womb of a new season. And so in that womb, you're being developed. I didn't quite understand that even in this season of really reckoning with cancer and my health, I was in the womb of being birthed out to be something new. I just need you to sit with that for a moment. Because oftentimes we can go through adversity and we're so emotionally distraught, but you don't really realize, could you possibly be in a womb of development, a womb of birthing for something new. And so when we understand it, it begins to shift your perspective and give you new revelation. Your posture is different. You're more yielded. When I was in that, I was more yielded to God because I now needed to hear. I've not been here before. And so, Lord, I need you to guide me. That's where my prayers came in. And so now in this space, point number 3, isolation and hiddenness, you now begin to grow in the womb of this new space. Point number 4, deep inner work. Deep inner work. There's a call to heal, forgive, and also let go. Can I tell you, this is probably one of the hardest things to do, is to heal, forgive, and let go. You start confronting your fears. You start confronting your insecurities, even some false beliefs that no longer serve who you are becoming. You're not the same person as you were in 1917. You're not. You're now in 2025, 2026. You're a new person. And so we have to, even though God will show us things that we have to let go, we say, yeah, I can do it. We literally have to let go spiritually. You got to learn how to let go emotionally. You got to also know how to let go physically. What are some things you got to let go? Relationships, habits, processes. Some of you may be called to be, God will make you let go of that job. Because some of these things that we hold on to end up becoming an idol. Some things we hold to. What is an idol? Anything that goes above God, anything that controls your life. God doesn't want you to be controlled. And if you hold on and you settle in certain seasons longer than you need to, it now starts to control you. You get too comfortable. It stops you from growing. It stops you from getting to your potential and your purpose from being unveiled. I know I feel like I'm saying a lot right now, but it's so, I feel like even in our discussion, it has so much held within it that can help you to begin to really identify and see why it's necessary to do the deep work. A lot of people don't like to do the work because it's uncomfortable and it's painful, right? That place of the deep work requires you to let go of the insecurities, requires you to let go and abandon your fears and abandon your failures and abandon those things that would try to oppose you. And when you abandon those false beliefs and all of those things, what happens is you let go to say, God, I trust you. So you let go, right? You release your hand, and now you reach out your hand towards God and say, God, I trust you. I'm going to walk by faith. Even though I can't see it, because that's what faith is. It's moving in the direction that you can't quite see, right? But you believe it's happening. And so when that happens now, you're saying to God that I trust you. What God is birthing in you cannot be carried by the old you. What God is birthing in you cannot be carried by the old you. And when you understand that, there now is a willingness to surrender. Your willingness to surrender says now you're allowing God to do the deep work that's within you. Some of the things that we go through, the achievements and the adversity, it literally allows us to identify or even begin the steps towards the inner work. So that inner work really helps us to show up and to become the potential and become the version, the next version, the next reiteration of who we are. All right, point number 5, revelation and alignment. Revelation and alignment. You see, in revelation alignment, new ideas and vision and clarity begin to emerge. You start to get a little bit of glimpse as to why. Okay, it's starting to make sense. The equation, right, is starting to come together. 1 + 1, okay, it's now starting to equal 2. I can now see. You know why you can see? Because you did step 4. It was the deep work. You let go. You've got some clarity now. You start seeing glimpses of what's next. Your purpose starts becoming clear. You start to get some direction. Your calling becomes clearer, right? You're not just, if I can go back to my chrysalis example, when the butterfly is in that mushy stage, you're now starting to take form. The wings of the butterfly, even though it's still in the sac, it's starting to form right now. The color is coming in. Right? Ideas are coming. It's now, things are starting to look like it's actually now possible. Potential is starting to rise. The puzzle pieces are all coming together. So now you realize the pain has purpose. You understand the pain of what you've gone through is now equating to this is actually can become a gift. It's producing something divine in you, the new birth of you. Are you in that birthing process? And I'm going to pause right here. And I'm also going to say, sometimes we can abandon the steps. If you abort at stage 5 or step number 5, you now abort your process. As a woman, you now end up recycling. You don't come to full term. You don't get to really see your potential. And now you start moving in cyclical cycles. You start recycling the same types of relationships. You keep getting the same types of jobs. You start hitting the ceilings of your life. And you feel like it's a glass ceiling. I see what I can do, but I keep bouncing off. I keep hitting the top of this clear ceiling on my life. Can I tell you it's because you've aborted? You didn't endure. You didn't allow that stretching process to take place. Just like that pregnant mom that goes through the first month, second month, fifth month, your belly is expanding, right? She's expanding. What happens is you stop the expansion process and now you abort and you're like, I can't do it. You can't give up. I need you to keep going. I need you to go through the stages. I want you to begin to process and push through. Because as you push through and you get to that 9th month, you'll begin to see that birthing that's taking place in you. So every single step is vitally important. Do not allow your emotions to dictate. That's why it's so important when you take each step and get the revelation of what I'm sharing with you, your emotions won't override. I can't begin to tell you, if I allowed my emotions to get the best of me on this journey to survivorship, I wouldn't be here today. Emotions have no intellect, but it does have the power to steer you off the wrong course and down the wrong direction. This is why, again, it's so important to have the voice to hear God and to have relationship and to move by faith, because emotions can hijack us and leave us in a place of feeling abandoned and destitute. That is not the promise of God. This is why when we're moving through life, knowing and understanding and moving in faith, it can get you into places of your life, positioning of your life that can literally birth forth your promise. So that was step number 5, revelation and alignment. Revelation keeps you in the process. Revelation keeps you in alignment. Revelation gives you that internal understanding that will allow you to stay the course. Don't give up. In my book, and I'll talk about this probably in another series. In my book, I Can't Take Back My Yes. Every chapter of the journey and every chapter in the book, there was divine revelation. I even have a chapter in the book talking about alignment. When you're in alignment, it helps you to stay the course. When you're in alignment, you have this revelation that no matter what's happening, I'm not moving or deviating 2 points to the left or 2 points to the right. I'm staying the course. For the revelation is what's building my faith, and it's what's strengthening me. So that was point number 5. Point number 6, we're hitting labor. We're hitting labor. The big push. It's the push. It's the push. Can I tell you it's a push? It's a push to do the podcast. It's a push to write the book. It's a push to write the business plan. It's a push to start the business. It's a push to be able to partner with someone and to start that business, or go to another country, move to another location. It's a push. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. You're outside your comfort zone. You're birthing something that you've never birthed before. So I get it. It's the push. But when you push, when you go through labor, can I tell you, it's going to be the most exhilarating feeling. So let's talk about it. When we talk about labor, this talks about things that may intensify right before the breakthrough. Opportunities demand courage. You're required to step out in faith right before you're about to move into what is about to break you through to that next level. The crowning, when a woman gives birth, and if you allow me, when that baby comes to the entryway of coming through, there's a crowning that takes place. And all she needs is that one final push. And it's right in that passageway. We can sometimes, ladies, we get tired. I can't do it. It's too much. It's too painful. I can't. And I'm going to tell you, hold tight. Yes, you can. Listen to my voice. Yes, you can. You can. Hold tight. I need you to dig deep, and now I need you to push. Do you know what it took for me just to sit right here and be here in this podcast with you? It took a push. I had to go through a season, and it wasn't easy. It took everything. But every single day, I had to be intentional as things started to intensify. This will not be the last season where life is going to intensify around you. When you are just on the precipice of breaking through, I need you to hear me, and hear me well. You've come too far, and you cannot suck back, hold back. No. I need you to go in the rhythm of your breathing, and I need you to breathe and give one more big push. The final push always feels like the hardest, but it's also where you're at the closest delivery. I don't know about you. I've had my girls, when I've given birth to them, when the doctor comes in and hands you your baby in that little swaddling blanket, if you will, and they're all wrinkled up and got the little pudgy nose and the little round cheeks. And you look at that baby, you're like, wow. I don't know, you're like Urkel. Did I do that? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You're going to birth out that purpose. You're going to birth out that business. You're going to birth out that foundation. You're going to birth out that book. You're going to birth one big push. You're going to birth out those ideas that you had in a book that's now got some dust collected on it. No, you're going to birth it out. One big push. That's step number 6. What is it that you need to birth in this season? My question is, did you do step 5? Were you aware of step 4? Did you recognize step 3, 2, and 1? The best part about this process, and this is life we're talking, when you recognize those seasons, you got to lock in. When you recognize those seasons, you got to be diligent. You got to be intentional, because things will come to oppose and things will come to intensify to stop you from breaking through. That was step number 6, the labor and the push. My final point, step number 7, the emergence. This is where the new you gets to arise. This is where the new you begin to introduce yourself to the world. Can I tell you, I am not the same person pre-cancer. I am more bolder. I am more confident. I'm more courageous. I am more, I could say 10 toes deep. I feel there's a greater shine. There's a matter of fact about me that if I did not have to go toe to toe and to be able to position myself to stand against the opposition that was trying to encroach upon my health, encroach upon my finances, my family, my future, my purpose, I had to fight for that. And because I fought for that, there is nothing on this side of the earth that's going to stop me. That's where there's so much power in understanding where you are. The things that fight, you don't give up. You fight. You go beyond, right? You begin to press. So when we talk about this step number 7, emergence, the new you, we're talking about you step into a new version of yourself, more confident. You're wiser. You're spiritually grounded. You're in tune. You're discerning. You're purpose now driven. You're purpose driven. Your voice now amplifies. Your voice has a different sound to it now. You don't accept the things that you used to. Your focus now starts to sharpen. Your walk is now intentional. When you walk into a room, come on, there's something about you that literally makes you feel as though you own the ground that you're stepping upon. And nobody gets to take that away from you. It's powerful. This is what you call the new birth of you. You're not who you were. You're who you were always meant to be. I need you to say with me right now, I am who I am meant to be. That's who I'm becoming. That's who I'm being birthed to be. The becoming, the new version of you. This is who I was. And can I tell you this, that we'll always go through birthing seasons. It's not just a one and done. It's a constant, because we're always evolving as human beings, as women. We're always going to be moving in this evolving evolution of who we are. The great thing about this is, like I said, step number 7, it's the emergence. You get to emerge. And so here's your call to action. We talked about 7 steps. And each step, I want you to pick out where are you right now? Are you at step number 1? Are you at step number 4? Are you at step number 3? Or are you at step number 7? I want you to begin to see where you are. Write down, go back, review, and really map out where you are right now. And begin to see it. For when you see it for yourself, you get the revelation. You know how to now take your next steps and next moves. Can I tell you what a freeing place it is not to have to be concerned about people's opinion? You're not depending on approval, and you're not depending on someone accepting you or you pleasing people. When you become a new reiteration, a new version, and the new birth of you, there's an independence that you rise in. And it doesn't mean that you don't take into consideration of what people say, but what you don't do is you don't make it redefine you. You don't become the birth of others. You become the birth of who God has created you to be. And that's what's liberating and freeing. All right. Well, if this has been a great experience for you and you got some things out, I want you to go ahead. Don't forget, number 1, share with your family and friends, right, of what you were able to experience. And then type in the chat below something that highlighted for you, right? What stage, what step are you on in this new birth experience? And with that being said, I'll see you back here again on the new birth of you, new birth of me.